Good morning, day 65. Well, it is pouring outside. Now our snow has turned to rain. Wasn't that a song by, I can't remember. No, that was the Rain Had Turned to Snow. Dan Fogelberg, that's who it was. Auld Lang Syne. I really like that song. It's still great, even today. So I ended up ordering a blanket to cover my day bed in the living room from Amazon. And I hope that brings the look together. I'm trying to do it on a minimal budget, but so far, I don't know, we'll see. I won't be able to do too much more until I get everything out of there. My daughter thinks I should get rid of my armoire, which I'm actually considering doing because I can only get a certain size television in there, which restricts where I can watch TV because it's a smaller TV. So anyway, we'll see. One thing leads to another. That's one thing I've noticed. When you're decluttering, one thing leads to another. When you're changing up a couple things in a room, before you know it, the whole room is getting a makeover. Do you guys find that's true too? And it really bothers me when I'm a very visual person, and it really bothers me when things don't go together, even though I do like an eclectic look, but it still has to have a common thread, whether it's the color or the style or whatever it is. So anyway, it's a really ugly morning here today, so I'm going to try and make it sunny inside. Breakfast, day 65. All right, let's see what we can come up with today. All right, I still have some yogurt and some grapes. So I'm going to have that. And back there, I still have some olives and artichokes and sauerkraut. I have to check and see if that's still good. I know the olives are still good, but back in there I have some tofu that I need to use up. In here I have another tofu. I have some frosting. I was thinking of making a bundt kind of cake for maybe for St. Patrick's Day, since it's green frosting. I have a little piece of pepperoni, a couple lemons, some French vanilla creamer that I always bring home from restaurants when they give me too many, and a couple of pudding desserts that my grandson bought and is not eating. Back behind there I have some better than bouillon, some tomato paste, just different things that I use for cooking that needs to be refrigerated. So that's in there, all things that I can still use up. So I think I'm going to have some more of this fitness bread this morning. And someone was asking what this is. This is fennel that I use to make tea, or when I make pepperoni or sausages, I put the fennel in, and I get usually I think it's a 1 pound thing, and I keep that in the refrigerator. Here I have some various restaurant things and some, what is this? Garlic paste. And back there I have some chia seeds that I keep in the refrigerator. So that's on this shelf, and I like to match my shelves to the size of the container. Now in here, since I've mentioned before how deep this refrigerator is, and a lot of things would get lost if I didn't put it in containers. So in here I have some sunflower seeds, I have various seaweeds, dried seaweeds, and margarine and vegetarian butter. So I keep that in here, and those are things I keep in the back are things I use for cooking and I don't use very often. So in here I have some miso paste back here that I use for cooking, and mainly cheeses. This is my cheese drawer. And I also have, I got this from my last shop, some hickory smoked slices. I think I'm going to have some of that on my fitness bread, along with some of this cheese. So that's what's in my cheese drawer. I have an empty Parmesan container because I still have some Parmesan cheese here from BioLife. It's vegan, that I want to shred up, and I just want to put it in that container. So I've cooked ahead a little bit, and tonight I want to use this up and some of this up, and I want to make some mac and cheese. So I've got that. And down here I have bread. I still have this chocolate chip cookie dough. It's vegan. I got that at Costco. Back here I just have different, like balsamic vinegar, spicy mango, just different sauces and seasonings. And here I have my tortillas and pickles and olive juice that I use for making some cheeses. In this drawer back here I have some hummus from Costco that I've had in there for quite a while. And my favorite way to eat hummus is with pretzels. So I had that the other day as a snack. I still have a few carrots, and I still have my romaine that I need to eat. And in here I have some homemade pickled something that's pretty old. And then I have my dried mushrooms in here too. So that's in there. And down here I usually keep just some empty containers that then I use for my sales, and I keep some empty jars in here. And these are dried apples from last summer. I keep those in the fridge. And then I have these crisper, these things are supposed to keep things fresh. I don't know if they do. Cool Crisp. I'll just keep those in here. So that's what I have in my refrigerator. And then over here, up at the top, I have some more homemade something. And behind that, I keep my yeast. And back there, I just have some dry buttermilk maker and some baker's chocolate that you can use for strawberries or grapes, and melt it in the microwave. And then I need to use this up. And these are my dressings. My refrigerator is yelling at me to close the door. Some mayo. I still have a little bit of that homemade yogurt. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I used some of it to make the muffins that were not epic, but And then I just have mayos and different sauces, and these are all mustards. So that's a little tour of my refrigerator. In the door up here, I have a couple of Neufchâtel cheeses, some more plant-based butter, and I'm going to use some of this with my fitness bread because you definitely need some butter on there because it's really dry. And then here in the door I keep my jellies, my olives, lime and lemon juice. Out of focus, there we go. Here I keep mainly drink things, and of course my chocolate creamer. And then I have another bottle of lemon juice. Down here I keep my cooking wines, and I just stuck a Parmesan grated topping there because I didn't have room anywhere else. And down here I keep my maple syrup, my garlic, soy sauce, different sauces, ketchup. So I want to use up some of my sauces too. Some of them I don't like so much, but anyway, there is my refrigerator. A whole tour of the fridge because I know I have all that romaine that I have to eat up yet before it goes bad. And I like eggs in a salad, so I cooked 3 eggs ahead. They're hard boiled. One of them I'll probably eat for breakfast. The other I'll probably just cut up in a salad. So I cooked that ahead, and then I also cooked up some pasta for tonight. I want to make some macaroni and cheese. And I've got my tea going, and this is raspberry hibiscus tea today. So I'll be back in a minute and show you what I'm having for breakfast. So I just looked and I forgot to show you one shelf, and that's this one. So in here I keep my eggs, and I have 2 containers. I have my homemade jam, which I'm going to put in my yogurt. I keep my pepitas, salted pepitas in here for salads. And back there is my second egg carton. And then over here I keep dried mushrooms. These are mixed dried mushrooms. And then back here I have another container of dried mushrooms, different varieties. So that's how I organize my refrigerator. Otherwise, I would never ever get my food eaten up because it's such a deep refrigerator. So I just wanted to show you that shelf too. And I'm going to take my jam and put some in my... This is how I store my grapes. I got these containers at Mark's. I think you can get something similar on Amazon. They're made for produce, and they have a little grate on the bottom. But what I do as an extra step is I put a paper towel in here, and I've had these grapes since the beginning of the month, and they're still looking really good. And I have several of these. I have a couple small ones and a couple bigger ones that I do put some greens in usually. But the problem with the bigger ones is they take up a lot of room, so when I have a lot of other produce, there's no room. So I only use those when I don't have a lot of produce. And I have a lot of green bags that I use too. So I'm just making my own berry yogurt. I put the sweetener that I like in here, and then just the berries. Because if you buy the individual non-dairy yogurts, they're over $1 a piece. Non-dairy yogurt is really expensive. And I keep trying to make my own, but I haven't found one that I'm super crazy about. But I'm going to keep working on it. So there you go, there's my yogurt. And I'm going to put a handful of grapes in there. And these grapes are still good, but I need to start eating them up. And I still have a little yogurt left, so I need to start eating that for breakfast. And then I'm going to put, I like this, it's Special K, and it's the cinnamon pecan. And it's really the only cereal that I like. I'm not a cereal person unless I eat it with a banana, then I like it. And it's good with like vanilla plant milk. So I'm just going to put a handful of that on my yogurt. And there is breakfast, day 65. I put some vegan lunch meat on here, some butter, and some cheese. And these cheeses, next time I go shopping, the beginning of March, I'm going to go to Aldi's and I'm going to buy those cheeses again because they are really good. So anyway, there we have it. I'll be back in a little bit and we'll see where the day goes. Okay, the saga of the daybed continues. So I got this really pretty, it's like a chenille blanket on Amazon, and it's a real big one. It's 90 by 90. So I put that on there. I'm just sort of trying to stage this a little bit. And I think it's going to work out just nice. It's not so in-your-face orange. It's more like a caramel orange color, and it has like a leaf pattern in it, which I really like, because I'm trying to make this room eclectic and boho with like natural elements, you know, leaves and plants and those sorts of things. So I have these stools that I stacked up for extra seating, and I have a charger that I put on top of there so that somebody can put a drink or something. Now, this isn't going to stay where it is because I still have my couch here. But I think what I'm going to do, I have an old drape that I never use. It's brand new. I never used it, but I've had it for a long time. And the colors that I want to do in here are like a burnt orange, an apple green, an ecru, because I want to bring in the natural elements of the macrame, and also chocolate brown. So those are the colors I want to do in this room. And this just started because I found cheap chairs on Amazon. These colors, I like them. I have them in my kitchen. My dining room has like a burnt orange. But I wouldn't necessarily have, if I were paying a lot for a chair, I wouldn't necessarily have picked this color, but it's turning out that I really like it. So I want to get a chocolate brown of some sort for a skirt, and then also for the back, because those covers that I got from Amazon are just too doggone white. So I think I'm going to do that. And then this blanket works real well. I've had that for a long time with the whole color scheme. So it's coming together, and I just wanted to show you guys this really pretty blanket that I got. When I was younger, orange was my absolute favorite color. I had an orange and blue couch when I first got married, and it was really pretty. So, but anyway, I'm kind of, you know, coming full circle and going back with the orange, and it really brightens up the room. Normally I go for more muted colors, but I want to make this a little more cheerful and bright, so I'm going to go with it. All right, I'll be back later, and we'll talk about what's for dinner. Time for a coffee break. Cheers. Well, as I was purging my papers, I came across this article, and it's from the ARP magazine, and it's about a grab and go. It's about a go bag. And I thought, I sort of have a go bag in the summer that I just take to the boat with me, but I really should put together an emergency go bag too. And it says to, I'll just go briefly over some of the stuff that they recommend you put in it. And they said the perfect bag is either a backpack or a small portable suitcase with wheels. Because they said it can't be too heavy because you might be running with it, and I can't even run without a backpack on, so I think maybe the rolling suitcase might be better for somebody that's elderly. But in it they say to put basic electronics, like an extra phone charger, and I'm just going to read this off, so in case there's, also a portable battery in case there's no electricity, a stash of long-lasting LED flashlight, pack a small hand-cranked or battery-operated AM/FM radio with extra batteries, or get one of those crank flashlights. I have a couple of those. So number 2 is personal needs. And what they do is they recommend that whatever you use on a daily basis to pack travel size jars and cases for all your personal needs that you usually use. So a smaller version of your normal everyday personal items. 3 is clothing. Pack for a few days worth and include layers you can add and remove. I like layers, even when I go out I put on a couple layers of clothes. Plus a lightweight rain gear and waterproof boots. So they make those collapsible like garden boots. They're like rubber that you can put over your shoes. I have a pair somewhere in my garden stash. 4, your meds, and it says to pack about 3 days worth of each of your prescriptions or whatever it is you take. And then I think that rotating that every now and then, using it up and putting fresh in, is a good idea. So that's my recommendation. And they said too, if you need larger items like an oxygen tank, to make sure that you have a portable oxygen tank. Let's see, number 5 is cash. Enough money for a few days, include small bills and a roll of quarters if you need to buy something out of a vending machine. So that's a good idea. Or if you need to go shopping at Aldi's and you need that quarter for the cart. That wasn't in there. That was my suggestion. Food and drink, bottled water, granola or energy bars. So they said to put in a variety of those sorts of things. And I like those little Captain's crackers. Those are a good thing to have. And I know Costco sells boxes of different, like almond cookies and stuff like that. Number 7 is paperwork. They said to fill a zip-top waterproof bag with photocopies of your birth certificate, driver's license, Social Security, and Medicare cards, your power of attorney and will, any marriage, adoption, or naturalization certificates, proof of address, insurance, medical, and immunization records, and information about your credit and ATM cards. Now those I would be careful with leaving somewhere, if you're out in the boonies or somewhere where you've evacuated to. you want to make sure that you always keep those in hand. In fact, you might want to put something like that in, once you get to your destination, in an over-the-shoulder bag that you can keep these things safe. And they make lightweight ones. It doesn't have to be a purse, some sort of a nylon or something lightweight. So that was about it. So they have a picture here of a go bag with all the stuff packed. So I thought that was kind of important and a good idea. And I mean, like, look what happened in Texas, you know. I'm not talking about a zombie apocalypse, but look what happened in Texas when they had the freeze down there and people had to evacuate, or the people in Florida and the Carolinas when there's a hurricane coming, and you don't have time to pack all this stuff. Another thing that everybody in your family should have a go bag, including your pets. Put together a go bag for your pets so that you can grab food and water for them too. All right, well, those are my words of wisdom for the day, and I'll be back with dinner. Dinner, day 65. Only 300 more days to go, and it'll be a year. What do you think? I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's see what we're having for dinner. All right, I need to finish up this chicken seitan. That is a must. That was really tasty, and I don't want to waste it. Let me see. I have okay, I have these two cheeses that I want to, this one I want to finish up, and this one I'll use some of. So I'll want to make a macaroni and cheese. Okay, so we'll use that. And I'm going to attempt to make some taquitos. I've never made those before. I don't even think I've eaten those before. So for that, I'll need a couple of tortillas. I'm only going to make a couple in case I don't like them. And some almond milk. Yes, I have a new creamer that I had downstairs in the refrigerator from my last haul. So we're going to give that a try because Walmart only had one of these at the time. So I got this. It's fudgy caramel, and this is chocolate caramel. So we'll see. And I think that's all I need. I'll probably need some mustard for the mac and cheese. So I will get some Dijon mustard. And I have no idea how this mac and cheese is going to turn out, but I'm going to give it a go. All right. I'll meet you at the stove. Okay, I ground up my seitan, and I wish I could remember how I made this because it was really tasty. So I've never made these before, never made taquitos. So, but the recipe actually was a chicken recipe, and it calls for a cup of shredded chicken, and they said they used rotisserie chicken. So, but I have my chicken seitan, and this is probably just enough for a couple, 2 or 3. I have 3 corn tortillas. I have lime juice, paprika, and I got these containers at the Dollar Tree a long time ago. Chili powder, cumin, and onion and garlic powder. It also calls for shredded cheddar cheese. I'm going to use this Follow Your Heart cheddar. And then the rest of it I'm going to use in mac and cheese. So I can't give you any measurements for this because it's such a small amount of chicken-ish substance. But it also calls for salt, but I'm not adding salt because the seitan is already salted. So I'm going to put this in a bowl. Well, I'll put it in here. All right, so I'm just going to add a splash of lime juice. And if you want this recipe, it's from online. 2 Peas and Their Pod is the website. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of this paprika. And I'm not using a whole 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just going to put a little dash in, and a little dash of chili powder, and some of the cumin. A little dash of the cumin. I like cumin, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that. And then a dash of onion powder, good dash of that, good dash of garlic powder. And that's it, and I'm going to mix it with the cheese. But I need to put this in a bowl. Okay, it says to get 2 damp paper towels and to do 2 corn tortillas at a time. I have 3. I'm only making 3 because I don't have much filling. So I'm just going to do the 3, and hopefully that's good enough. And then it says to microwave this for 20 to 30 seconds. So I'll give it 30 since I have 3. And then, okay, now I'm going to add some cheddar, some of the shreds to this. The rest will be for my mac and cheese. And I imagine you can do the same thing with ground beef, anything like that. Now I don't know how this is going to work with the vegan cheese. I'm sure it would be fine with regular cheddar cheese, but I have this cheese that I want to use up, so. Alright. Now it says to roll these up. Now it says to roll these up. So I'm going to roll those up and let them sit a minute. Now they're thinking you're going to be making at least 10 of these, which I'm not. And in the meantime, I have an oiled baking sheet here, and I'm going to fill these and then bake them at 450, I think it is. Let me just double check. I don't want to give wrong information. 425. And I'm going to bake those for 15 to 20 minutes. So hopefully they'll be good. Like I said, I've never made these before. But it sounded like a fun thing to do, and I had all the ingredients, and I like to make different things. So this might be enough for 4, but I don't know, we'll see. So using up what I have, and then I'll be back in a minute and roll these up. Now I have two sad looking starting to shrivel up tomatoes here. Now I could bake these and do like a sun-dried tomato thing, but the taquitos call for tomatoes and avocado and lettuce and sour cream as toppings. So I'm just going to use one of these for that, and the other one I'm going to use for tomorrow's meal because I still have a little tiny bit of pasta sauce from the other day, and I cooked extra noodles for that meal too. So I'm going to use this one in the pasta sauce. Okay, so I have my mixture on here, and it says to roll it up tight. So I hope I didn't put too much on here. Like I said, I am a total novice at this, and it might be good and it might be terrible. Now it says to put these seam side down on the baking sheet, and these tortillas are kind of on the old side, so we'll see. We will see. And I don't want to overfill it because then it just falls out. All right, I'm going to roll these up and pop them in the oven at 425 and see what we come up with. All right, I'll be back. Here they are ready to go in the oven, and I actually have enough to probably make 3 more, but I'm not going to do that now. Okay, I just can't stop making leftovers, so I have this much left, and that really stretched that seitan a long way. So I'll save that. I could make a taco tomorrow, something like that. But in the meantime, I'm going to make the macaroni and cheese. Okay, recently I learned about a product called sodium citrate, and it's a form of bicarbonate soda and citric acid. So it's very food safe, and it actually does have some health benefits. So it's an emulsifier. So I'm going to use this in my mac and cheese. And it says, the directions said, like half a teaspoon, cover the bottom of the pan, and then once that comes to a simmer, then you add your cheese. So I've never done this before either, so let's give it a try. And I got that on Amazon. So half a teaspoon, and it says you can add any liquid, water, beer if you want to make a beer cheese. You can add broth, milk, whatever. And this is a 1 pound package. So, and you don't need much, half a teaspoon it said. And there's actually a formula, a ratio that you can follow, but I don't have that available, but it's readily available if you Google it. So there's half a teaspoon, and then I'm going to choose almond milk today. So I'm just going to cover the bottom like it says. All right. And I'm also going to add a little mustard, but I think I'll wait a minute for that. So I'm going to bring this to a simmer, and then I'm going to use the rest of this cheese, and hopefully that's enough. If not, I'll have to add some dairy cheese to it too. But I'll be back once this starts to simmer. Okay, this is just starting to simmer. Apparently what the sodium citrate does, it keeps the cheese from separating from the oil and makes it very creamy. I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of mustard, not too much, because I'm trying to make just a very small portion of macaroni and cheese, because I don't know if I'm going to like it. I'm going to add just a little bit of garlic salt. Again, not too much because I don't want this to be too salty. Alright, now I'm going to add all this mozzarella, the earth-grown that I don't like too much. And hopefully this will melt in the pan. I don't know, but I want to get rid of it. So, and you probably want to add this a little at a time. And you can just use this to make a cheese sauce, apparently. So the mozzarella is melting, so that's a good thing, because in the oven it's terrible. So I'm going to add the rest of this cheddar shreds. And this was frozen in my freezer. And I had pulled it out because I had too much cheese. Then I don't know if I'm going to have to add some more milk. I may have to. I'm not sure, because I'm kind of winging this. So I'm going to let this melt. It's melting nicely. And this version is vegan, but you know, you can use dairy. And let's see if it's impressive or not. So I'm going to let this cook for a minute, and then I'm going to add my pasta that I cooked up this morning. And it's looking very nice and creamy. But it hasn't all melted yet. So I'm going to give this a couple minutes and I'll be back. Okay. It's a beautiful cheese sauce. And you can make this a beer cheese or whatever flavors you like. Add a little Frank's and make it a hotter cheese. And it's a good way to get rid of excess cheese that you need to get rid of. So bits and pieces of cheese. This is great. I would definitely do this again. And it's a lot easier than, you know, doing the flour and all that. So I have here some pasta that I cooked earlier, and I'm just going to add this cheese sauce to it. And in no time, and it's way cheaper than buying those packages of Velveeta macaroni and cheese. And I'm impressed. I would do this again. And my taquitos are done too, but they didn't take anywhere near the amount of time they said. But I did it in the air fryer, so maybe in the oven it would be different. But I don't know. In the air fryer they took about, 8-9 minutes. So there we go. This pasta was cold. It probably would be a little easier to mix in with a hot pasta, but since I made it this morning, it's cold and I have to heat it up a little bit. All right, there is the mac and cheese, and I am impressed. So if you have any interest in the sodium citrate, there's lots of information about it online. It's used in a lot of food items that you buy. And now this is totally vegan, but it works just as well with dairy cheese. And I did add a little more mustard just to taste. So let me give this mac and cheese a taste and see if it's any good. All right, here it goes. Mm-hmm. Very nice and creamy. So using up what I have, used up a couple things of cheese. This would probably work the best with like a sharp cheddar. But I just used up my vegan cheese. So if you're vegan, it's a good way to make a mac and cheese with your vegan cheeses. Let me show you my taquitos. So here are my taquitos. They're nice and crunchy. I imagine they'll taste good. I'm going to make some toppings. And that's going to be dinner. Mac and cheese and taquitos. So here's my romaine lettuce that I bought the first of the month. And today I think is the 17th, so almost 3 weeks ago. It's perfect. So I'm going to have that with some tomato. I don't have any avocados. And I don't have any sour cream, but I'm going to use up my ranch dressing. There's not too much left, so that should be good. All right, let me put my plate together. Okay, there we have dinner day 65, homemade easy mac and cheese, homemade taquitos with salad. I wish I had an avocado, but I don't. So I think it looks good. Let's give it a try. And it was surprisingly easy to make, even the taquitos. So let me try those first. I don't even know how you're supposed to eat these, but I'll give it a try. Supposed to eat it with the salad? I don't know. I'm a taquito novice. Well, it doesn't stay on there very well. Nice and crunchy. So out of some old corn tortillas that were shoved at the back of the fridge, it's a good meal. All right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. Be good to yourself, be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.